A chosen woman always walks alone, not because she is forsaken, but because she is called to a path that is uniquely her own. She doesn't seek to blend in with the crowd. She doesn't look for approval from those around her. No, her calling is greater, her mission is different, and it requires her to stay focused even when no one else understands the weight of the journey she's on. There's a strength that comes with being chosen, a strength that is forged in solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It's the space where she connects with her higher purpose, where she quiets the noise of the world to hear the voice that speaks to her destiny. In those moments, she's not lost. She's being fortified. The world may see her as walking alone, but she knows she's not alone. She's in communion with something greater than herself. She's learning, growing, and getting stronger. Understand, though, this strength doesn't come without cost. When you are chosen, you are often set apart. Leadership, true leadership, is not about popularity. It's about sacrifice. It's about making decisions others won't understand, standing firm in convictions that may not be popular, and walking a road that many won't have the courage to follow. A chosen woman doesn't just lead. She leads with courage and conviction, and she leads by example, even when that path leads her to walk alone. But it's not just the weight of leadership she carries. It's the weight of expectations, the expectations of others, the expectations she places on herself. People will look at her, and they'll expect her to be perfect, to have it all together, to always be strong and always have the answers. The pressure can be immense. There will be moments when she questions herself, when she wonders if she's doing enough or if she's even on the right path. But she keeps walking because she knows that her purpose is bigger than any doubt that might arise. The weight of expectation is heavy, but it doesn't break her, it shapes her. And that brings me to the most important point. A chosen woman does not seek validation. She's not looking for applause, likes, or affirmation. Her purpose is greater than popularity. She doesn't walk this path to be admired or accepted. She walks it because it's the path she's been called to. She understands that true fulfillment is not found in the approval of others, but in the deep, unshakable conviction that she is fulfilling the mission she was created for. If no one else applauds, if no one else understands, she's okay with that because her purpose is aligned with something far more powerful than the fleeting applause of the world. At the end of the day, this woman's journey is not a lonely one. It's a journey of purpose. It's a journey where, despite the solitude, she knows she is not alone. She has a vision, a mission, a calling. And though the road is tough, though it may be steep and filled with obstacles, she keeps walking. She walks alone, not because she's abandoned, but because her path is her own and it leads to greatness. So, let me remind you today, if you're a woman who feels like you're walking alone, know this: you are not alone. You are chosen. Your path is unique. Your calling is great. Keep walking, stay focused, and trust the process. Your walk may be different from others, but it's leading you somewhere powerful. Walk it with purpose, walk it with faith, and know that you are walking toward the fulfillment of your divine purpose. You are not just walking alone. You are walking toward greatness. Keep going. A chosen woman understands that her life is not by accident. She has been called for a greater purpose, something far beyond what the average person may understand. Her purpose isn't something that can be easily defined or achieved through ordinary means. It is something that requires intentionality, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. When she recognizes this calling, she knows it will demand something of her, a level of focus and dedication that others may not fully grasp. The path before her may not always be the most popular or well understood, but it's hers to walk. And she's prepared to walk it, even if it means walking it alone. This calling often comes with a deep sense of knowing that she was designed for something significant. It's not something she can escape, nor is it something she can abandon when things get tough. The greater the calling, the more she is set apart. And in many cases, this means she will have to walk a road where the crowd doesn't follow. Her purpose may not always be immediately clear to others, and the choices she makes may appear difficult or even out of place. But she knows deep down that every step is part of a larger plan. This understanding often leads her to a place where, even in the midst of doubt or uncertainty, she remains steadfast. She chooses to walk with faith, trusting that she is walking in alignment with something much larger than herself, and that gives her the strength to continue even when the road ahead is unclear. At times, the calling may feel overwhelming. There may be moments when she questions her ability to carry it out or doubts whether she's the right person for the job. But those moments of uncertainty only serve to strengthen her. The realization that she is called to something greater encourages her to press on, even when the journey feels lonely or challenging. It's not about seeking immediate comfort. It's about embracing the responsibility that comes with being chosen. She understands that her calling will require her to make sacrifices, to go places others may not be willing to go, and to stay focused even when distractions are abundant. Through it all, the chosen woman continues to walk forward because she understands that her calling is not a one-time event, but a continual process of growth, learning, and discovery. It requires her to consistently check in with her purpose, to stay grounded in what she believes, and to remain committed to her journey. The more she leans into her calling, the more she becomes who she was always meant to be. It is this clarity of purpose that empowers her to stand firm in the face of challenges and push forward, no matter the obstacles in her path. She walks alone because often the road she must travel is one that only she can walk. But in her heart, she knows she is not walking aimlessly. She is walking with intent towards something powerful and transformative. Solitude is often misunderstood as loneliness, but for a chosen woman, solitude becomes a source of strength. It's in those quiet moments when the world fades away that she connects deeply with herself and her purpose. While others might see her walking alone as a sign of isolation, she recognizes that these moments are where her power is cultivated. She doesn't fear solitude, she welcomes it because it gives her the space to reflect, recharge, and realign with the higher calling she carries. In the stillness, she finds clarity. It's not about being surrounded by people or constantly being on the go. It's about having the time and space to focus on her inner voice, her convictions, and the direction she is meant to go. Solitude becomes her sanctuary, a place where she can hear God's whispers, where she can gather her thoughts and strengthen her resolve for what lies ahead. While others might seek distractions or fill their lives with noise, she understands that true power comes from being comfortable in her own company. It's in these quiet moments that she learns to trust herself, to trust her intuition, and to trust that the path she is on is the right one, even if it doesn't align with what the world expects. But solitude doesn't just help her connect with her purpose, it helps her build resilience. In the quiet, she has to face herself, and that can be one of the most challenging things to do. It's easy to look to others for validation, for direction, or for support. But when you are walking a path that is uniquely yours, there is no one else to turn to for answers. In those times, she learns to lean on her faith, her inner strength, and the belief that she is equipped for the journey. Solitude forces her to dig deep and discover what she is truly made of. The challenges she faces in the quiet strengthen her resolve and prepare her for the louder, more chaotic moments that will inevitably come. Through solitude, the chosen woman finds clarity of vision. She isn't distracted by the opinions or judgments of others. She doesn't need the approval of the crowd to stay on course. In fact, solitude helps her detach from the noise of the world and stay focused on the calling she has. When the world is constantly telling you who you should be or how you should act, it can be easy to lose sight of your true self. But in solitude, she finds her authenticity. She remembers why she started, and she recalibrates her mindset to keep pushing forward, regardless of what others may think or say. Solitude also enables her to grow. It's during these quiet moments that she can reflect on her journey, learn from her mistakes, and celebrate her victories. Every step of the way, she is evolving, becoming more of the woman she was always meant to be. These periods of introspection aren't a sign of weakness. They are an essential part of her growth. Without these moments, she would be lost in the noise, distracted by the opinions and judgments of others, and disconnected from her true self. Solitude, then, isn't something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is a time of renewal, growth, and self-discovery. Ultimately, solitude strengthens her connection to her higher purpose. It helps her stay grounded, focused, and prepared for what lies ahead. She doesn't need to constantly be surrounded by people to feel fulfilled. She knows that the most important relationship she will ever have is with herself and her purpose. And in these moments of quiet, she is reminded of why she is walking this journey alone, because she was chosen for something extraordinary. Solitude becomes the foundation on which she builds her strength, resilience, and vision for the future. It's not a place of emptiness, it's a place of infinite potential. A chosen woman knows that with leadership comes a unique set of responsibilities and burdens that others may not fully comprehend. The weight of being a leader is not one that can be easily shared or understood by everyone. Leadership requires tough decisions, sacrifices, and a resilience that is often invisible to the world. While others may be quick to offer advice or even criticism, they don't know the full scope of what it means to be called to lead. A chosen woman embraces this calling, understanding that leadership is not about power or control, but about service and sacrifice. It's a responsibility that requires her to move forward even when the road is unclear, even when the path is lonely, and even when the people around her don't understand the journey she is on. In moments of leadership, a chosen woman often finds herself standing alone, not because she lacks support, but because her role requires her to make choices that others may not agree with or may not have the strength to make themselves. The burden of leadership means she must be strong enough to take the heat when things go wrong and remain humble enough to accept the responsibility for things that are beyond her control. The decisions she makes, no matter how difficult, are made with the awareness that they will affect not just her, but the people she leads. And sometimes those decisions may set her apart from others, causing her to walk alone in her leadership. There is also a spiritual weight to the role of a leader, particularly when that leadership is in service to something greater than herself. A chosen woman is not just leading for personal gain or recognition. She is leading with a purpose, often a divine one, that she cannot abandon. This means that her actions, her decisions, and her path are guided by a higher calling. She may not always have the clarity she desires, and she may not always see the full picture, but she is committed to trusting that the direction she is being led is the one that will ultimately bring about the greatest good. The calling to lead can sometimes feel like a burden because it pulls her in directions that others may not understand. But she carries that burden willingly, knowing that it is part of her purpose. Leadership also requires immense courage. To lead is to be vulnerable, to open yourself up to scrutiny and judgment, and to be willing to stand firm in your beliefs, even when others question or challenge them. A chosen woman must be brave enough to stand alone when necessary, especially when the truth is hard to speak or the decisions are difficult to make. She doesn't shy away from confrontation or the hard truths that need to be spoken. She knows that leadership requires not only the ability to inspire, but also the strength to make uncomfortable choices that may not always be popular, but are necessary for growth and progress. In this way, a chosen woman leads not by forcing her way, but by showing others the way, even if they don't walk with her initially. The burden of leadership also means that she carries the responsibility for others' growth and well-being. While she walks her path, she's also guiding others to find their way. And in that, there is a constant tension between caring for others and maintaining her own personal strength. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the needs of others, but a chosen woman knows that in order to truly lead, she must take care of herself as well. She must strike a balance between being there for those she leads and not losing sight of her own purpose and well-being. Leadership is not a one-way street, it's a constant exchange of giving and receiving. A chosen woman in her wisdom understands that leadership is about empowering others while remaining rooted in her own vision and purpose. Ultimately, the loneliness that comes with leadership is not a punishment, it is a privilege. It is a sign that the chosen woman has the strength and the courage to walk a path that others may not be ready to walk. She is a pioneer, a trailblazer, who is forging a way forward that will inspire others in time. The burden of leadership is heavy, but it is one that she carries with grace, knowing that her actions today will lay the groundwork for the future. Though she may walk alone, she knows she is not truly alone. She is leading with purpose, and that purpose will carry her through the challenges ahead. The world may not always understand her journey, but the impact she will have as a leader will speak louder than any words could ever convey. A chosen woman is often faced with the weight of expectations that can feel almost unbearable at times. From the moment she steps into her purpose, others begin to look to her as a source of inspiration, guidance, and strength. They expect her to rise above challenges, to remain unwavering in her beliefs, and to serve as a beacon of light when things seem dark. The pressure of these expectations is not easy to bear, especially when the world often places unrealistic demands on what it means to be successful or strong. People forget that she is human too, with doubts, fears, and moments of vulnerability. Yet, despite the pressure, she is expected to be flawless, to always have the answers, and to carry the burden of leadership with grace. This weight is compounded by the expectations she places on herself. A chosen woman often holds herself to a higher standard, driven by a desire to live up to the purpose she feels deep within her. She doesn't just want to meet the expectations of others. She wants to fulfill the vision she has for her life, one that she believes was divinely given. But when those expectations seem too much to handle, when the challenges pile on, and the road ahead appears too steep, she must learn to trust in the process and rely on her inner strength. She cannot give in to the pressure, but must find a way to navigate through it with resilience and faith. At times, the weight of expectations can lead to feelings of isolation, as though no one truly understands the magnitude of what she's carrying. People may admire her strength but fail to acknowledge the sacrifice it takes to keep moving forward. While others may be quick to judge, she often finds herself alone in her struggles. There are moments when she may wish for a reprieve, a chance to step back and breathe, but the chosen woman doesn't have that luxury. She is committed to her purpose, and despite the emotional and physical toll it takes, she continues to press forward because she knows that her role is crucial, not just for herself, but for others as well. It is in these moments of overwhelming expectation that she discovers the true essence of her strength. She learns that it is okay to not have all the answers, to not always be strong, and to acknowledge the weight she is carrying. There is power in vulnerability, and she discovers that by allowing herself to feel the weight of the expectations, she can find a way to manage them. She doesn't have to be perfect. She doesn't have to have everything figured out, and she certainly doesn't have to carry everything alone. It's in embracing her humanity that she truly begins to understand that the expectations placed on her are not a burden meant to break her, but a testament to the impact she is meant to make. The expectations others place on her, though heavy, are not entirely negative. They reflect the trust and belief that others have in her, a recognition of her potential. And as much as they may feel like a burden, they can also serve as a source of motivation. She learns to take these expectations, to process them, and to turn them into fuel for her journey. She uses them as a reminder of the trust others have placed in her, and she rises to the challenge. Each time she faces those high expectations, she grows stronger, more confident, and more equipped to handle what comes next. It's in meeting the demands of these expectations that she evolves, becoming the person she was always meant to be. In the end, a chosen woman learns to navigate the pressure of these expectations with grace. She realizes that she doesn't need to be perfect to be effective, and that the weight of expectations is not meant to break her, but to help shape her into the woman she is destined to become. With every challenge she faces, with every expectation she overcomes, she gets closer to fulfilling her purpose and becoming the leader, the inspiration, and the force of change she was called to be. While the expectations may remain heavy, she has the resilience and wisdom to carry them and use them to propel her forward. The pressure may never fully disappear, but she learns to thrive under it, knowing that she is not just meeting the expectations of others, but she is exceeding her own as well. A chosen woman walks a path that requires an unwavering commitment to her purpose, one that is not driven by the need for external validation or accolades. She understands that her journey is not about seeking applause or acknowledgement from the world around her. Instead, it is about fulfilling a calling that is bigger than any recognition she could ever receive. While the world often places immense value on external achievements and public approval, the chosen woman remains focused on what truly matters: the fulfillment of her mission. She doesn't need validation from others because she is secure in the knowledge that she is walking in alignment with her purpose. Her strength comes from within, from the deep conviction that she is on the right path, even if no one else sees it or understands it. This lack of need for validation gives her the freedom to move forward without being hindered by the opinions of others. She doesn't seek the approval of the crowd or the praise of those around her. She knows that her value is not determined by the recognition she receives, but by the impact she makes in the lives of others and the alignment of her actions with her purpose. This understanding liberates her from the need to conform to societal expectations or trends. While many may chase after fleeting moments of fame or temporary applause, the chosen woman remains committed to a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment. She understands that true success is not measured by what is seen on the surface, but by the lasting change she creates, the lives she touches, and the example she sets for others to follow. As she continues on her journey, she becomes less and less concerned with how she is perceived by others. The desire for validation fades, replaced by a stronger sense of purpose and self-assurance. She no longer seeks to impress or to prove herself. Instead, she seeks to live in alignment with the truth of who she is and the mission she has been called to. This shift in focus allows her to make bold decisions, take risks, and step into roles that others might shy away from. She no longer lets the fear of judgment or rejection hold her back. She is driven by a deeper purpose, one that cannot be measured by outside standards or accolades. This inner confidence also frees her from the trap of comparison. In a world where people are constantly measuring themselves against others, it can be easy to lose sight of your own path. But the chosen woman doesn't compare herself to those around her. She knows that her journey is unique, that her calling is distinct, and that there is no one else who can walk her path the way she does. She is not looking to emulate someone else's success or follow in their footsteps. Instead, she looks within, finding strength and inspiration from her own experiences, growth, and lessons. She understands that her worth is not dependent on how she measures up to others, but on how true she is to herself and her calling. By releasing the need for validation, she also frees herself from the pressure to be perfect. She understands that mistakes, setbacks, and imperfections are part of the process. These things do not define her or diminish her worth. They are simply stepping stones on the path to becoming the woman she was always meant to be. The chosen woman embraces her flaws and shortcomings because she knows they are part of the story, part of the journey that is uniquely hers. She doesn't need to present a perfect image to the world. Instead, she focuses on doing the best she can, being authentic, and growing through the challenges she faces. Ultimately, the lack of need for external validation empowers her to make decisions based on what is right for her, not what will please others. It allows her to stay true to her purpose, to take risks, and to chart a course that may not always be easy, but is always meaningful. She knows that her true fulfillment lies not in the approval of others, but in the deep satisfaction that comes from living a life that is aligned with her values and her calling. By removing the need for validation, she frees herself to become the woman she was always meant to be: strong, authentic, and driven by a purpose that transcends any external recognition. In conclusion, the chosen woman walks a path that is both powerful and demanding, but it is a path that only she is meant to walk. Through solitude, leadership, the weight of expectations, and the freedom from external validation, she is shaped into a woman of strength, resilience, and purpose. She learns to trust her inner voice, to embrace the responsibility of her calling, and to rise above the pressures of the world around her. As she walks alone, she finds that it is not a journey of isolation, but one of deep connection to her true self, to her purpose, and to the impact she is destined to make. While the world may not always understand her, she understands herself, and that is all that matters. She carries within her the power to overcome any obstacle, the courage to make bold decisions, and the wisdom to remain focused on what truly matters. The path she walks may not be easy, but it is hers, and in embracing her unique journey, she becomes the woman she was always meant to be: unshaken, unyielding, and unstoppable. So to every chosen woman out there, remember this: you may walk alone, but you are never truly alone. You are walking in your purpose, and that is the greatest power of all.